All right, thank you guys for coming. We have a good group looking at names and faces. Some are familiar for our weekly online time, some are new, so maybe 4:30 works for this group. But this week we are talking about understanding the law of uniqueness and the art of sensing individual self-worth. So let me ask a question. We're going to do a personality test today and then tie it into this week's lesson and tie it into and show you some examples of personal creed document. This is part 3 that you're working on. So has anybody done the shapes test? Not the shapes test, sorry, the color test. Has anybody done the color personality test? Go ahead and type in chat or unmute your mic and talk to me. So far a bunch of no's. All right, so there's multiple personality tests out there. The most famous one and the most probably comprehensive is the color test. So Whitley thinks maybe she did. The color test is really cool. It's expensive and it takes some time. We're going to do a really simple one, and the simple personality test that we're going to do is called the shapes test. Now, it's important that you guys listen to these instructions pretty carefully, but I want to encourage you not to overthink it. So what I'm going to do is the next slide, I'm going to show you 5 different shapes. Okay? Now, this is the idea on the shapes. I'm going to ask you to put them down, and you can write these down if you want or just mentally do it. I want you to list these shapes in order of your preference. The shape you like the most at 1 and the shape you like the least at 5. But this is the key, and I want this to be really clear. I don't want you to think about this for more than like 15 seconds, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to list the shapes in order, going with your first initial gut reaction. If you start thinking about it, you say, well, maybe it's this or maybe it's that, you're going to overthink it. So this is the key, and I'll repeat it one more time before I show you the 5 shapes. List your shapes in order of your preference with your initial first instinct, okay? And I'm going to give you about 15 seconds to do it. So next slide coming up are the 5 shapes. Go. 1 through 5, shapes in order. All right, that's about enough time. Okay, everybody done? Awesome. All right. Yeah, now we're going to do, so Elijah, can you hear me now? I'll let you do this quickly. These 5 shapes in order of your preference. Top one, in order, but your likes, 1 through 5. Square, rectangle, triangle, circle, or squiggly. All right, we're all together. A couple of you have just joined too. So if you just joined, these 5 shapes as quick as you can with your first initial instinct in order of your preference. All right, so we're going to talk about these, and I want you guys to chime in, and I want you to tell me what your shape is. All right? So, and I'd love to have some of you, when we get to the time where we're going to ask some questions, to talk to me about your shape. Okay, shape number 1 is the square. So how many of you, of the 23 of you on the meeting, how many of you had square as number 1 shape? Square number 1. I need to see a few names. I know we have at least a couple. So Angelica, Catherine, JC, and Brianna are our first squares. Okay, and Aubrey. All right, so here's our squares. If we were to give the square a title, it would be the workers. They like order and structure. Their jobs must be done right. They're very good at problem solving. They like the status quo, and they're very organized. Now, if I was to look in the closet of a square, it would be like my wife's closet. It's dress clothes and dress shirts, and the shoes are organized. If I was a guy, I'm not a square, but if I was a guy, my closet's kind of orderly because my wife makes me do it. But if I was a true square, the ties would be lined up, the shoes would be neat and in order, dress shirts, dress pants, casual shirts, casual pants. The suits would be by the dress stuff, okay? All right, so for you 5 squares, maybe a couple others, talk to me. Am I right? Does this fit? Are you comfortable with your shape? Angelica says, not that organized. Okay. But maybe some of the other traits, right? Like working hard, getting things done. Everything else does fit. Okay, good. Okay. Now, for a lot of people, I'll tell you what I am. I am a triangle circle. Almost all of us are 2 shapes. Well, we have elements of all of them, maybe, but you'll lead with 2. I'm a triangle first and a circle second. All right. Shape number 2. I want all of you guys to tell me if shape number 2 fits you, and that is the rectangle. How many rectangles? Anybody? This is the most uncommon shape. Anybody put rectangle? Melanie is a rectangle. Anybody else? Melanie is the rectangle. All right, Melanie. You are the team player. I want to see your picture. Where you are. I don't have you have your picture up. That's right. So everybody, Melanie, are you married? All right. Okay, Melanie, I'm not trying to be inappropriate here, but everybody will want to be married to a rectangle, okay? Because they're super easy to get along with. They're team players. They're flexible. They like people to work together. They want everyone involved in the decision. They like things done fairly. They're accommodating. They hate contention. They want peace. They're a flexible square, okay? I wish I was a rectangle. Sorry. All right. Melanie, does that fit? Tell me how you are feeling. Kind of, sort of, yes, for sure. Okay, good. We got a winner with Melanie. All right. The next one, number 3, is the triangle. Now, I'm a triangle. Triangles are movers and shakers. So who's a triangle? Type in your name if you're a triangle. Soraya, Jackson. Just 2? Maybe more? Okay. So Michael picked it, but it's the opposite. That's okay. This isn't like rocket science. Okay. Well, triangles are movers and shakers. They're climbers. They're action-oriented. They like to make decisions. They look to the future. They do not pay me. I do not pay much attention to detail. I like to make lists, but not always follow them. And we have a lot of irons in the fire. So, Soraya, Jackson, how does that feel for you? 100%. Okay, we got a winner. Jackson, pretty close. All right. My wife is this next shape. She's a circle. They're the lovers. I'm trying not to sneeze. I failed. Sorry. So they're very adaptive. They like harmony. They get along with people. They like to talk a lot. They're very personable, and they are good people readers. All right, who's our circles? Tell me, we usually have a lot of circles. Fabiola, Abram, Katie, Michael, and it sounds more like you, so that's good. Elijah's a circle, excellent. Spencer, awesome. So we have a lot of circles. Okay, that's often the most common shape. All right, and Abigail, thank you, Spencer. The last one is the squiggly. They're our wild person. Wild persons, they like variety. They don't mind being a little out of control if they're having fun. They're very creative, will try anything. They like independence, and they're very daring. All right. Who's our wild people? Okay. Eduardo is that 100%. Ramado, does it fit? Tell me if it fits, too. Ramado is. Sierra is about halfway there. Sierra, what was your second shape? Triangle. Okay, good. Those actually go together pretty well. I used to be more of a squiggly until I got older too. So Whitley, you're not that old, but All right. Now, most of us are going to be a combination of these things. And if we go back to the shapes altogether, it kind of goes left brain to right brain, right? So the square and this rectangle are more left brain, analytical, triangles leaning left, bumping up against right. Circle and squiggly are more right brain. I used to do this experiment when I take college students, BYU Idaho students, on what we call expedition. And it's interesting, I'd be in a van full of accounting majors, and I would do this test with them as we were driving. Almost all the accountants are squares. They like numbers, they like order, they're hard workers. I would ask the finance entrepreneurial kids what they were, and they were almost always triangles. They want to be CEO. They want to be the president of a company. They want to own their own company. If I was ever on an expedition with comm majors and marketing and advertising and journalists and art, this graphic design, they're going to be more circle squiggly. So you guys are kind of leaning and following your passion a little bit by what you're doing with your personality. Now, one test that you can do with this is to kind of look at, and maybe some of you guys can chime in. We're almost done. In Inner Victory, can I take that slide out? Oh, here we go. In Inner Victory, at the end of the chapter you're reading this week, there are 4 personality types. The triangle is most aligned with dominant directive. The circle is most aligned with influencing or interactive. The rectangle is steadiness and supportive. And the square is conscientious, compliant, and competent. There's not a correlation with the squiggly line. So I would love to have you guys comment on this or not. But one of the ways that you can do this is, how do you keep your bedroom or closet? If you're a squiggly, it's probably a little like mine, a little messy. Maybe not even stuff hung up. If you're a square, it's going to be orderly. What are some of your pet peeves? Some of you, as different personality groups, will have different pet peeves that are alike. How likely are you to bungee jump, skydive, or climb the Grand Teton without ropes? The squigglies would be more inclined, the squares less inclined. Okay. Now, any comments on this? Anybody want to talk? To me, you guys are more quiet than normal this time, but that's okay. Anybody feeling like bothered by this or think it's cool or that are right on? And let me ask this question. What is the great lesson in this? What can you guys learn from this when it comes to your relationships, for example? Anybody? Everybody's being shy tonight. Any thoughts? Okay, Angelica says, try to keep it clean and organized, but sometimes slip down. Okay. Hate when plans change, that all fits. Okay, and Eduardo, you kind of hit it a little bit. We all have different personalities, okay? I could say, and I've been married 36 years, I could say, I really would like my circle wife to be more of a triangle or more of a squiggly. It's not going to happen, right? Rather than try and change someone's personality, it's better to accept their personality and understand, this is in the book, different is different, not necessarily wrong. It's not wrong to be a squiggly. It's not wrong to be a square. But if a square is married to a squiggly, they better understand that they're going to be different. And as Katie just perfectly put out, help balance each other out. Or you could also say to help complement each other, okay? Different is different, not necessarily wrong. So what you're going to do this week is you're going to celebrate what makes you unique, okay? Here's an example, okay? A page could be more than one page. I'm going to show you an example that's more than one page, but a page that talks about your strengths, your blessings, your talents. In this example, they have something about me and they talk about her and has some pictures that show kind of who she is. Okay? Here's an example of someone that has it on multiple pages. Okay, number one, celebrate the fact that she's an introvert. I'm not mad or depressed or antisocial. I just need not to talk to anyone for a while, and that's okay. And she puts some myths about being an introvert. But she's not only an introvert, she is also, oh, this is more the introverted stuff. She's also loves beauty, and she loves to learn, and she's a daydreamer. Okay? Now, typically, in this section, people may list something that they're like having to work on, right? I would make this a celebration of you and not a beat myself up thing, because everybody on this call and everybody that's going to watch this recording has lots of things that they can celebrate about themselves. Okay, any comments or questions about this week? Now, again, as you build your personal creed document, what I'm going to be reading this week and what you're standing in likely isn't going to look like this. That's probably what it might look like at the end when you hand in your final product. If you want to start building it in and adding pictures and colors and quotes and graphic elements, that's fine. And it might be smart because it will mean you'll have less work to do at the end. Okay, any comments, questions? All right, thank you all. I'll stay on for the next few minutes to answer questions. If not, we will see you next week. Okay, thank you.